Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the first ever Colorado State Fair Kids Day Camp. We are so excited to have you on board, and this is a really special moment. Of course, we love agriculture at the State Fair. We hope you do too. Agriculture grows and raises all of our food. To all the parents and adults who are joining us today, we hope you find this to be a special time as well. We're so proud we were able to bring you this experience during a year like 2020. So have a wonderful time today. Have so much fun. You're in great hands, and we're so pleased to have you joining us. We'll see you all soon. Enjoy.
Ooh-wee. Thank you so much, Commissioner Kate. I am so excited. Not only did she just appear for you guys, but we have a guest coming back. I'm so excited. Let's hear it for Tracy. Isn't it Tracy?
Over 900 species of wild. Hi, I am Tracy Predmore. I am the Education Coordinator for the Southeast region of Colorado Parks and Wildlife, and I am excited to be here with you guys today to talk about bighorn sheep, which is our state mammal. Now, some of you have probably joined us over the last couple days and have learned about Colorado Parks and Wildlife, but for those of you who are new today, I just want to tell you a little bit about us. We are a state agency. It is our job to manage 42 state parks that we have all across the state, including Lake Pueblo, which is located in the hometown of the State Fair. We also manage over 900 species of wildlife, which include mammals like our bighorn sheep. And it is also our mission to educate you about wildlife and the great natural resources that we have in this state. So like I said, we're going to talk about bighorn sheep. And before we do that, I would like to talk a little bit about the difference between antlers and horns. Those are terms that are often used interchangeably, but they are very different. So let's start with an antler. I have an elk antler here. So antlers are found on the deer family species that we have here in Colorado, which are elk, moose, and deer. This is an elk antler. The antler is actually a bone. This is the fastest growing bone in a mammal. And when it is growing, it is actually covered with a very fine, sensitive hair with lots of blood vessels underneath to help nourish the bone while it's growing. In late fall, the velvet will fall off and we are left with this hardened bone that we are most familiar seeing on deer, elk, and moose. The bone grows from this pedicel, which is on the animal's head, and it is only found on males, with the exception of caribou, which we don't have in Colorado. Both males and females have antlers on caribou, but on our deer, elk, and moose, it's only the males. The antlers are used for mating purposes. They are used to attract females. The larger the antler, typically the healthier the animal is, and they will often use their antlers when fighting for territory or fighting for females. And these are lost, so they fall off every year in late winter, and they are regrown every year, which is pretty impressive that this grows every single year on an animal. All right, let's talk about horns. So I have here a bighorn sheep skull. So horns are actually made of keratin, which is the same material as your fingernails and your hair. And horns are actually grown from specialized hair follicles at the base of the horn, and they grow throughout the life of the animal. So these are not shed, unlike the antlers. These grow every single year. And so you're actually able to age an animal, tell how old it is based on the rings, the growth rings on this horn. And you're going to hear more about that in a video in just a minute. Horns are almost always one single structure. I'm going to show you an example in a minute that's different, unlike the antlers, which have a lot of branches off of them. So these are also used for mating purposes. Again, the larger they are, the older and healthier the animal is. Now, one big difference is that horns, females have horns as well. And so in Colorado, our animals with horns are bighorn sheep, mountain goats, and bison, and pronghorn. So again, these are not lost every year. They are grown throughout the life of the animal, and they're actually a sheath. So this is the bony core in the middle of the sheath, and then the sheath grows around that for the life of the animal. Now, the one difference is the pronghorn, which I have here. So the pronghorn have horns. Now, they do have an actual branch off of the horn, which again is different than all the other animals. And they also have a bony core, and it's a sheath, but they lose this every year and regrow it every year. So it is a little different than the others. Okay, so that is a little background on the difference between horns and antlers. So hopefully you will use those terms correctly. And now I want to show you a really cool video called "What's the Big Deal About Bighorn Sheep?"
Whoa, did you see that? My name is Elizabeth, and I work with Colorado Parks and Wildlife in the Schools and Outdoor Learning Environments program. And today, I'd like to talk to you about what's the big deal with bighorn sheep. The bighorn sheep is special to the state of Colorado. This is not only because of its majestic good looks, but also because in 1961, by an act of the General Assembly, it was made the state animal, elevating it to a symbol of Colorado. Not only is it a symbol for the state, but it's also a symbol for Colorado Parks and Wildlife as well. This powerful mammal calls the mountains of Colorado home. With its short, stout, and strong body, it can negotiate dangerous cliffs with ease, even as they use those symbolic horns to ram one another. But what are those horns all about anyways? You may remember from our previous video on antlers that antlers and horns are a little bit different. Antlers are entirely made out of bone, whereas horns actually have a protein sheath called keratin on the outside, and then they have a bone on the inside. Let's take a look at this bighorn sheep skull. So when you take a look at this, you can see that protein sheath on the outside, and then on the inside, there's bone. And not only that, but that bone's pretty special. It actually has holes in it. It's a honeycomb pattern. Now, having holes in the bone like that actually allows the bighorn sheep rams to be able to absorb impact, which is pretty important when you're going at such high speeds, ramming each other all the time. When you look at a bighorn sheep's horns, you may be wondering, well, how did they get so curly? You are not alone. Early on, folklore of the West had an early explanation. Legend has it that a long time ago, Bighorn had straight horns. With those mighty straight horns, he used them to push animals one by one over a cliff. However, there was one animal that fought back, the mighty coyote. Coyote pushed Bighorn back by pushing Bighorn over the edge of the cliff. But Coyote regretted this and decided to save him by grabbing his horns. When Coyote let go, the horns curled up, and they have been curled ever since. We now know that signature curl that you see on the Bighorn sheep is actually from the protein growing unevenly. On the outer edge, you're going to see the protein growing faster than on the inner edge. So that's where you get that curl from. The same is true from us. If we were actually to grow out our fingernails, they would grow into a curled shape. When taking a closer look at these curly horns, you will also find that, unlike antlers, they stay on the sheep throughout its life. Every year on the horn, there's a distinct line of growth, and that's called an annuli. You can see an example here. So these annuli allow you to actually age the bighorn sheep ram by looking at its horns, same as looking at rings on a tree. So when you take a look at this bighorn ram, it was maybe about 10 years old when you count the annuli. Bighorn rams, or males of the species, are not the only ones with horns. Ewes, or the females, have a smaller horn. They're spike-like, growing towards their backs. Rams develop those much bigger horns with that signature curl. And knowing that the ewes have those smaller horns versus the rams, you may think that it's pretty obvious to be able to tell the difference. But there's some other features that may be helpful as well. With a ewe, the horns are thinner at the base and grow backwards. With the rams, they're thicker at the base and create more of a V shape on the head. A mature ram's horns can be so big that they can make up 10% of their body weight. That's about 40 pounds. And these flashy horns can come in handy for the males during the rut or mating season. During this time, rams will establish dominance amongst one another by ramming each other with their horns, sometimes with a force so powerful you can hear it from a mile away. They can even crack their horns or damage other parts of their bodies in the process. As powerful as the bighorn sheep are, at one time their numbers across Colorado were very low. This is because they faced challenges from things like unregulated hunting through the early 1900s, from disease like pneumonia brought on by domestic sheep, and even habitat loss from people just building on the land that they live on. As people began to realize that we were losing this and other important wildlife species, plans went into place in order to not only reduce our impact, but also grow the numbers of these amazing animals. With the creation of something called the North American Model of Wildlife Conservation, funding from the sale of hunting and fishing licenses are used to invest in wildlife management and research and habitat enhancement. Colorado Parks and Wildlife continues to monitor sheep populations, their health, as well as limit hunting on them. Because of these continued efforts, bighorn sheep have become something you can see in the mountains today. But the bighorn sheep is still facing challenges even today. Things like habitat loss and disease are still a problem in its environment. But we can do our part in our everyday lives in order to help it out. Things like that research that Colorado Parks and Wildlife and other agencies are doing, as well as you watching this video today. And one of the most important things we can do is just giving it its space whenever we're out recreating in its environment. I like the rule of thumb. If you can cover up the animal with your thumb, you're probably far enough away when you're looking out at it. Let's take a look at these sheep here. I may be a little too close. Seeing wildlife can add to any outdoor experience, but getting too close can harm both us and the animals we love. The best wildlife experience is from a distance. Conservation starts small. To learn more about the bighorn sheep, go to cpw.state.co.us and type in species profile in the search. There you'll be able to visit the species profile page, and you can learn about the bighorn sheep and other amazing Colorado species, and even share what you've learned with others. Is there a topic that you'd like to see us cover? Go ahead and add it to the comments below.
All right, I don't know about you guys, but bighorn sheep are definitely one of my favorite animals in Colorado. And I don't know if you guys know this is a little secret for those of you that live in the Pueblo area, but we actually do have bighorn sheep that live on the very west end of the reservoir in the cliffs. So if you're ever out there, make sure you keep your eyes open for those bighorn sheep. So right now I want to show you a really quick activity that you can do at home to make your own bighorn sheep head that looks just like this. And in the companion booklet, you will find a list of all the supplies you need and the directions. But just real quickly, I'm going to show you how you go about doing this. So what you need is a paper plate. You need some scissors and tape, something to color with. I used crayons. And then you need an empty toilet paper roll. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper plate and you're going to cut. You want the kind, by the way, that have the ribs on them, because that acts just like the edge of the bighorn sheep skull with those growth rings that Angel was talking about. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut the center out of the paper plate, and then you are left with this edge, and you want to cut it in half. Just like this, okay? And then you're going to round off the edges of those horns so that they end up looking like this. And that is because bighorn sheep, they do what's called brooming of their horns. And basically it just means that as they're, they're walking around and they're fighting, or just in the environment they live in, they often hit them on rocks and they break off the tips and they end up kind of rounded instead of pointed like the females do. So round off your edges, and then from the very center of your paper plate, you will want to cut out the face of the bighorn sheep, and then use this extra paper from the plate to make the ears. So it looks something like this. And again, these directions are in the companion guide, so you can see what that should look like. And then what you're going to do is you're going to tape it or glue it all together. So you tape your head on your handle here, which is your toilet paper roll, color in your face and your ear, and then attach those horns, and voila, you have a fun bighorn sheep head that you can display of your very own. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed learning about bighorn sheep, which is our state mammal, and again, our mammal that represents our agency of Colorado Parks and Wildlife. And I hope you enjoy the rest of today's presentations. I'm going to kick it back to the State Fair now.
Oh, hi guys. I was just looking at my State Fair Day Camp book. That's right. You can print it out. Make sure you go and check it out, because we got one for day 3. And we'll have one for day 4. I was looking through this and I see that there is a bighorn sheep, Cam the Ram, right on in here that you can color too. I lost the page, but if you look, I think it's on page 8 or 9. Anyways, take a peek-sies, give it a little color, and wow, thank you so much, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, for giving us that sweet treat of Miss Tracy. She did so good teaching us about rams. I love it. Now, without further ado, it is time for a snack, and I got just the chef for all of us. Please welcome Chef Jason to teach us a little bit more about some cooking.
Another one of the State Fair favorites I didn't want to miss out on, street corn. That's right. We're going to show you a fast and easy way today, campers, to make amazing street corn. We're going to fire up the grill, so be sure to have mom, dad, or grandma or grandpa, your aunt or uncle. Make sure you have an adult with you, because we're going to get the corn grilled. We're going to get it all set. I'm going to show you how to make that amazing street corn glaze that we're going to brush on that corn and make it fantastic. Now, here's the deal. That beautiful Colorado sweet corn needs to get shucked, right? So first off, we're going to go ahead and get the rest of these shucked. We actually only have one left, but we've got most of them all set and ready to go. We want to get them shucked and cleaned. Next up, we're gonna start the grill, and then while the grill is preheating, we're gonna make our Mexican street corn glaze, and then showtime. All right, guys, no matter whether you're cooking on charcoal or gas, our temperature today is gonna be 400 degrees. So we went ahead and got the grill all started and ready to go. Now we're gonna let it preheat. In the meantime, let's get back there and get that corn glaze all set and ready to go. Like we always say, we're gonna keep our recipe nice and close today so we can refer back to that while we're cooking. But we're gonna start off with a half a cup of mayonnaise, right? So we'll get that in there, all set and ready to go. Next, we're gonna add a half a cup of our crema. Get that all set and ready to go. Then we're gonna add a little bit of our Cajun seasoning or some tahini. Works absolutely great. I'm gonna add a little bit of my favorite seasoning as well. And now, look at this. Look at this, beautiful, fresh, amazing lime juice. We're gonna add 1 to 2 teaspoons, depending on what you think would be fantastic. Next, we're gonna add a half a cup of some cotija cheese that has been grated and ready for us to use. And then we're gonna finish this off with that beautiful cilantro. Time to mix this up, get this all set and ready to go. Next up, we're back at the grill. It is time to get our corn ready to get cooked and then get glazed. Before we head over to the grill, I'm gonna go ahead and get my corn soaked with a little bit of water, right? I wanna let this sit for about a half hour in some water so it has a chance to absorb. Now that water is gonna get inside all those kernels, get in every nook and cranny and help this corn really grill and steam and cook to become super tender. All right, the corn has been soaked. So what we're gonna do next, we're gonna go ahead and put it on the grill. Now we're gonna grill this about 2 or 3 minutes aside or until we get it about where we want it, right? So if you like it cooked a little bit darker and roasted a little bit darker, go ahead and do that. But I say about 2 to 3 minutes aside, then we'll come back and start rotating the corn. Then during the last couple minutes of the cooking process, that is when we get to get in here and do our magic with that beautiful street corn glaze. So we're at 15 minutes right now to get the corn where we are at. Now, I'm gonna take my silicone brush, you guys. We're gonna go ahead and start glazing. And what I'm gonna do, just gonna glaze the top, and then we're gonna rotate it, glaze the other sides, and let it go. I will probably glaze and then let it cook for a minute or two, and then we'll rotate and do the same thing. But our goal next, get all these pieces of corn glazed, and I'll see you back at the table when we're ready for that quality control. Listen, I'm putting gloves on for this quality control because I'll tell you what, this is super messy, but very, very delicious. So we got the street corn all done. And really that process is easy, right? Get someone to help you. We're gonna grill the corn off and then we're gonna glaze it, turn it, glaze it, turn it, glaze it until we get everything covered and beautiful just like that. I didn't want to miss out on the Colorado State Fair food this year, so we're bringing it to you. Cheers. Yeah.
Ooh, that looked ever so yummy. Thank you so much, Chef Jason. I think I'm gonna have to eat some grilled corn and maybe have a little hydration for the day. Now, before I have my hydration, I got my pretty lipstick on today and I don't want to ruin it. So I got in here my eco-friendly straw. So I'm just going to get it ready while I let y'all know. Woo! That'll do. I think that'll be just fine. Now, where was I? That's right. We have Jennifer with us today, our agriculture ambassador. So without further ado, let's give a big round of applause to Jennifer.
Hello, campers. It's great to have you joining us again today. Let me get my screen shared and pull up my chat box. Wonderful. Great. All right. Again, my name is Jennifer Sharpie, and I am the Executive Director of the Colorado Foundation for Agriculture. We are a 501c3 nonprofit foundation charged with the task of facilitating Colorado's Agriculture in the Classroom program. One of the things that I love about my job is when I get to teach students like you all about the food and fiber system we rely on every day. If you have any questions throughout today's presentation, feel free to put those in the chat feature. And I'm going to start a timer so that I can keep us on track today. Take a moment to look around you and identify the items you rely on every day. The food you ate today, the clothes you're wearing. Did you travel anywhere? Maybe in a car or on a school bus? Did you ride your bike? How about the materials needed to build your house, such as steel and wood? How are you participating in camp today? On a computer, a tablet, or cell phone? Where did these items and the raw materials used to make them originate from? Let's go over a little vocabulary before we play. The first word is agriculture. It is the science or practice of farming, including the cultivation of the soil for the growing of crops and the rearing of animals to provide food, wool, and other products. Next, we have natural resources. They are materials or substances that occur in nature. These include minerals, forests, water, and fertile land. We've been learning a lot about natural resources this week. And finally, a source, which is a place, person, or thing from which something originates. And I can already see somebody is ready to play our game. So we are going to do another Menti interaction. If you have been with us all week of camp, you probably are a pro at this by now. And if you're new, welcome. Open another web browser on your phone, tablet, or computer and go to menti.com. That's MENTI.com. And then from there, you'll put in the code 9481839. That's 9481839. You'll want to keep this browser open throughout camp today, as we'll come back to it a little bit later. Okay, do we have everyone set? As you get there, the instructions are still up on the top of the screen. The game we're going to play today is called Source Search. I will display the picture of an everyday item on the screen. Your job is to determine the original source of that item, whether it's from a store, a farm, a factory, or if it's a natural resource. You'll need to be quick with your answers, as I will only give you about 20 seconds. Okay, are you ready? Let's go. So this item, is it from a farm, a factory, a store, or a natural resource? What do you think? You got 8 seconds left. All right, our voting is closed. What is the correct answer? It is a natural resource. So think about the materials used to make that camera. The metal and the glass, those are all natural resources. All right, next one. Mayonnaise. What is the source of mayonnaise? Is it a farm, a factory, a store, or a natural resource? Okay, couple seconds. Voting is closed. The correct answer is a farm. What is mayonnaise made of? Well, it has eggs and oil, and so plant oil. So those are all things that we would get from a farm. Okay, next one. How about this? What is this item made of? Or what is the original source of this item? Farm, factory, store, or natural resource? A couple seconds left. All right, voting is closed. You guys are great. So the correct answer I say is farm. So let's think about this sweater. If it's made of wool, which is what I think it's made of, then it's from the farm because wool comes from sheep. It also could be a synthetic material, which means that it would have oil in it and therefore would be a natural resource. So again, sheep, if it's wool, it's from sheep. If it's a synthetic material, then it has oil and it's a natural resource. Great job, everyone. All right, let's see. Go to the next one. How about this item? Is it from a farm, a factory, a store, or a natural resource? What are we guessing here? Okay. You guys are smart campers. All right. It is a farm. If we're talking about the tomato sauce, tomatoes come from a farm. Did you know you could grow Colorado, or you could buy Colorado tomatoes year round? We're going to learn more about Colorado produce in a little bit. And for the person who said it was a natural resource, if you're referring to the metal can that the tomato sauce comes in, then you are also absolutely correct in that metal is a natural resource. Okay, we'll keep going. How about this item? What is the original source of this item? Is it a farm, factory, store, or natural resource? Natural resource. You guys have all guessed it. That is correct. Metal. It's got metal in it, so it's a natural resource. Perfect. How about this one? We learned about milk earlier this week. What's your answer? A farm, factory, store, or natural resource? Let's see, where are your responses? Everyone is saying farm. Good job. Our milk comes from dairy cows. How about a car? What do we think about the car? Is it from a farm, a factory, a store, or a natural resource? You guys have gotten the hang of this one. I don't know if I'll be able to stump you or not. You are all correct. It's a natural resource. Again, all of the metal and the glass to make it. But now, if we think about what we learned yesterday, if that car is being powered by ethanol, then part of it is from the farm. Also, several companies, including Ford Company, is using agriculture byproducts to help make parts for their corn or for their cars. Ford uses the tomato skins and they dry them down and they make that into a fiber. So parts of it could also be from the farm. How about this? What is the source of this item? We have some answers. What do we got? Everyone is saying farm. You guys are all great. You got it right. And if you missed camp on Monday, you can go back and watch. We made ice cream in a bag. So you can watch, or you can download Monday's camp packet and learn how to do that. Ooh, soda. What do we think about soda? Farm, factory, store, or natural resource? What is the answer there? We're a little all over the place on this one. Great. All right. The majority said factory. So let's think about this. What is soda made of? A lot of it is water. We've already said that water is a natural resource. So whoever answered with natural resource, you are correct. The other main component of water is sugar. Do you know that sugar comes from a farm? We get our sugar from either sugar beets or sugar cane. And we actually grow sugar beets here in Colorado. Up near Weld County is where we grow sugar beets, and quite a few of them. So depending on how you look at it, it's from a farm or a natural resource. Did you notice that we haven't said any of the answers are a store or a factory yet? Let's do another one quick. How about this one? This will be our last one, and then we'll wrap it up. You should be able to get this one. Right, everyone is getting this one correct. Those are the ingredients to a hamburger that are all from a farm. We're going to learn about beef tomorrow, so be sure to join us. Well, that's all the time that I have for this activity. What did we learn? Well, everything that we use every day is either from a farm or a natural resource. Things may get made in the factory and we may buy them from the store, but the original source of all of those items is either the farm or the natural resources. So if we didn't think having agriculture, if we didn't have agriculture, farmers and ranchers, and our natural resources, we wouldn't have very many items. We wouldn't even be able to live. So thanks for joining me for now. I will be back with you a little bit later. And I will turn it back over to the State Fair.
Wow, thank you so much, Jennifer. I love hearing, oh my goodness, that was kind of loud. I got a little distracted. Ooh, anyways, you know what helps me focus? Drinking more water. So I'm gonna definitely drink some more water while we enjoy this next video. We have got Circus Imagination back today. That's right. I know you've been watching some of our face painting. Now I want y'all to participate too and do those face paintings. Take your pictures, put them on social media and tag us. Now, without further ado, let's give it over to Circus Imagination Ambassador Carol.
Hello everybody, my name is Carol from Circus Imagination, and today I'm going to teach you how to do a bear face paint by yourself. All you need is a face paint kit with the colors black, white, and brown, 2 types of brushes, a wide brush for the underlayer and a thin brush for the black outlines. And that's it, you got this. Here we go. Start on the top of your nose, make a small circle that goes under your bottom lips. Get more paint if you need to. Connect those lines and circle it around. You don't really need to paint the nose part because we're gonna paint that black for the black bear's nose at the end. I want you to divide your eyebrow in half, right there, and then do a half loop on top. I want you to follow the underline of your white face paint. And I want you to follow the overline of one eyebrow to the next. So go under the eyes and over the eyes. It's okay if you go a little bit over the white. Just do one outline stroke around the white on each side. For the bear's nose, I want you to first draw a straight line from under your nose to your upper lip, then widen it like a triangle and fill it in. You to follow the line of your nose up, over, and down. Now get your thin brush for the black outline. We're gonna start with a smile. Follow your upper lip down to the edge and up like a smile. And on the other side. Now curve the smile like a cartoon. Now we're going to outline the white part of the face. Let's feather the ears as if they have hairs. So go up and connect. Go up and connect. Up and connect. Up, 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 up. Get your brush, start on this side, go whoop, and when you can't go anymore, just start again. Go down. When you can't go anymore, just start over. Now we're gonna do the teddy bear seams. They go right up here and across. And right here, we're gonna do a hashtag. It was really fun to face paint with you. I hope we can do this again another time. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Circus Imagination, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Ooh-wee. Thank you so much, Miss Carol. That was super inspiring. So inspiring that I had a couple of gummy bears for a snack. Now, I'm having a lot of fun with y'all. For those of you who maybe joined us late, my name is Tana Mae Pickenpaw, and you are here at State Fair Day Camp virtually. Walk on the wild side. Yeehaw! That is our theme, and that's very, very fitting because we're learning about things about Colorado and wildlife and agriculture and technically rooted from the wild. And I have our special guest that's been with us today to teach us some more, maybe a little bit about wool and some other things that sheep also provide. So check it out from Ambassador Jennifer.
Hey campers, good to be back again. Can you see on share my screen? Perfect. Now we talked about bighorn sheep earlier. We learned about them, but now we're going to talk about domesticated sheep. Do you know what domesticated means? It means a plant or animal cultivated for food. Here are some fun facts to impress your friends and family members with later. So we learned just a little bit ago that sheep give us wool. They can also be used for food. The protein is called lamb or mutton, If you haven't tried eating lamb before, you should. Has anyone tried lamb? Go ahead and put in the chat box if you've had lamb before. A female sheep is called a ewe, a male is called a ram, and a baby is called a lamb. And perhaps the most impressive fact is that Colorado ranks 3rd in the US for the number of sheep. Look at, we do have a couple of lamb eaters. Maya and McKinley, great job. Thanks for commenting. A sheep's wool grows forever, and it always needs shearing or cutting, just like your own hair grows forever and has to be cut. It's not a good thing when a sheep goes wandering off by itself, away from the rest of the flock, like this one did in this top picture. This ewe was not found for a long time and wasn't able to be sheared, so her wool just kept on growing. It's important that sheep are regularly sheared for their comfort and so that they can see. And look at this other picture. I bet you didn't know that sheep have been kept at the White House before. Okay, how about the different breeds of sheep? There are actually 5 different categories of sheep breeds. The first we're going to talk about is a fine wool sheep. So this picture here is a close-up picture of the fine wool on a sheep. The wool fibers are crimped and wavy. You see that crimp? This crimp makes the wool easier to spin and has a better quality. We'll talk about spinning in just a little bit. What do we notice about these sheep? They're kind of funny looking. Their long hair or long and curly wool gives them the name of long wool breeds. While sheep with long wool breeds have a lot of wool, the quality of the wool is not very good. Then we have the medium wool breed, or also called the meat type or mutton type. They are raised more for their meat than for their wool. Many of the market lamb projects of 4-H and FFA members are medium wool breeds of sheep. And if you've driven around Northeast Colorado, you may have seen a lamb feedlot like this one pictured here. Have you heard of hair sheep before? Hair sheep breeds are exactly what you think they are, sheep that grow hair instead of wool. The benefit of hair sheep is that they do not need to be sheared. They will shed their hair naturally, so it makes them easier to care for. And did you know that there were dairy sheep breeds? These sheep are raised to produce milk that can be made into specialty cheese, ice cream, and yogurt. Sheep milk has a low lactose content. Look it, they have a milking parlor for their dairy sheep. Very similar to some of the images of milking parlors that we saw on Monday. Okay, who's ready for another Menti activity? We're going to test your knowledge to see what you have learned about breeds of sheep. So go ahead to menti.com, MENTI.com. Use the same code from earlier. You can use the same window that you had open earlier. The code again is 9481839. Okay, give us a like if you're joining us, if you've got logged in on Menti. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a picture of a breed of sheep, and then I will also give you a short description. To play along, you're going to use your Menti to select the correct breed type. All right, let's go. And if you don't know, just guess. But this breed of sheep is called a Rambouillet. It has it's large and white-faced with wool on its leg and head. It can be horned or polled. It's fast-growing and adapts well to the climate. So what do you think its type is? We have some medium. Do we only have one? There we go, a couple more. If you don't know, just guess. There's no right or well, we aren't taking a score today. So the answer is actually a fine wool breed. You look at its wool, it has a lot of it, and it's actually a fine wool breed. Okay, let's do the next one. This one is called Delaine Merino, or also just called Merino sheep. It is medium-sized. It's white-faced with wool on the head and legs. It's hardy and adapted to well climates and poor feed sources. So look again, does it look similar to the other one? It's got wool on its head and legs. How are our guesses coming? All right, what is our correct answer? This one was also a fine wool breed. Generally, those sheep breeds that are all white in color are going to be a fine wool breed. How about this one? This one looks a little bit different. This is called a Suffolk. It is large in size, has black head, ears, and legs. There's no wool on its legs or head. What do you think? Take a guess. We got all sorts of answers. Great job. Thanks for participating, guys. So what is our answer? It is a medium wool breed. Yep. You can see it's a little bit more meaty. These have been recently sheared, but it doesn't have any wool on its leg or head, and it's got a little black on it. And the reason we wouldn't want black on our wool is because it's harder to dye it. All right, next one, the East Friesian. This is the predominant breed of this type in the US. It does have multiple purposes, but can you guess what its primary reason is? I bet you all have this one right. And you are correct. It is a dairy breed. All right. How about Lincoln? What is this sheep? What breed is it? It's one of the largest sheep breeds in the world. It originated in England and introduced in the US in 1825. It has wool on its legs, and the wool is long and curly. That should be your clue right there. Long and curly. Let's see. What is the answer? Long wool. You guys are correct. Okay, we just have a few more. Hampshire. This is also a popular breed. Has a large face it's large in size with a black face. It does have a little bit of wool on its leg and head. Good maternal instincts and milking ability. Here's the key, produces an excellent carcass and a medium, easy to spin wool. What do we think? Yep, it is a medium wool breed. I'm sure enjoying learning about these breeds of sheep. I hope you are. Okay, this one is called Columbia. It's hardy, good mothers with good milking ability, large in size, with a white face and wool on the legs and head. The fleece has a good length and no black fibers. Does it look similar to some of the other breeds of sheep that we've seen just a little bit ago? Maybe that Rambouillet sheep looks kind of similar to that one. Who was the one that guessed a fine wool breed? That is the correct answer. All right, look at this sheep. This one's kind of a funny looking sheep too. It is called a Dorper. Has exceptional adaptability, hardiness, and reproductive rates. It's fast growing, good mother, and it sheds on its own. Should be a good clue if it sheds on its own. What did we say earlier? There you go, you're getting it. So this one is a hair sheep. Yep, Kylie, you got it correct too. Great job, everyone. Okay, here is our last sheep breed. It's called Southdown. It's best suited for farm flock production. It's small to medium size. It tends to have gray to mouse brown face and wool on the legs. What do you think? When my mother was growing up, she raised this breed of sheep, Southdown. Let's see. The answer is a medium wool breed. Yep. In part because, again, that coloring of it wouldn't make it a fine wool breed. And as you can kind of see, it's got a little more muscle to it than some of the other ones. All right, great. Thanks for participating. Have you heard of any of those sheep breeds before? I imagine some of them you've probably seen. If you've ever been to the Colorado State Fair or maybe your county fair, you've perhaps seen them. But here's some baby sheep of a friend of mine. Okay, it's now time to take our trip to Cam's classroom. Oh, Maya, these were all new to her. Well, great. I'm glad we could share some information with you. So we're going to go back to Cam's classroom, and they're going to show you some hands-on with wool activities. Now, if you were able to get carded wool, go ahead and grab those supplies. Otherwise, sit back and watch as our CSU Ag Literacy students show us some really cool things that we can do with wool. Should be just as entertaining.
Hey there, State Fair campers. My name's Ariana.
And I'm Rebecca, and today we're in Cam's classroom.
The materials you're going to need for this activity are some carded wool and a spinning hook. To start, you're going to want to take your carded wool and take a pencil thickness piece from it. And by that, you can pull it just a little bit tight in order to see if it's about the width of a pencil. Once you have that width, you're going to pick up your spinning hook and take about a ½ inch piece and wrap it around the end of the spinning hook.
You'll want to make sure that when you put the wool on the hook, that your hook is in your non-dominant hand and your wool is in the dominant hand.
And from there, you're going to hold it nice and tight, but not pulling it too far apart, and begin spinning the hook. And as you spin the hook, you're going to be moving your hand away, and this is called drafting. And then if you come across any knots as you're spinning, just give it a little bit more of the unspun wool. Once you reach the end of your carded wool, now it's time to ply. You're either going to have a family member use their arm, or to practice socially distancing, you can use the arm of a chair. And what you'll do is from the middle of your strand, you're going to take it on the arm of the chair in order to meet the two ends together.
So now I'm going to demonstrate that. You'll want to put your string or your wool, you'll want to put your wool on the bottom of the chair and grab the top. From here, you can take the hook off of the wool, and then you'll remove it from the chair and it'll twist together.
This is called plying. Plying is when you take two single strands of spun wool and let them twist together. This makes the strand stronger.
From this, you can use it as yarn in your weaving project, or you can just keep this and use yarn as well. Thank you so much for learning how to spin wool with us today. If you want to stick around, we're going to dye wool with Kool-Aid next. Our next activity in Kim's classroom today is going to be dyeing wool with Kool-Aid. And today, joining me is Cheyenne. So for this activity, you're going to need wool, vinegar, measuring cup and measuring spoon, a bowl to mix your Kool-Aid in, Kool-Aid, and water. So in a glass bowl, you'll want to combine your package of Kool-Aid, your cup of water, a tablespoon of vinegar, and then you'll want to stir it all together.
First, we're going to add our Kool-Aid. We chose orange. Next, you're going to add a cup of water. Your final ingredient is a tablespoon of vinegar. Pour over your bowl to avoid any accidents. Stir the Kool-Aid until it's completely mixed.
Once the Kool-Aid is completely mixed, you'll be able to take your wool and submerge it in the liquid. The next step is to heat your wool for 2 minutes on high in the microwave. Now we just got our bowl back from the microwave. And now Cheyenne, be really careful, it might be really hot. So the next step is to let your wool cool. And the best thing to do is you might be able to do it overnight. Once your wool has cooled, then you'll want to rinse it. The first step to do is to take your wool and place it in cool water.
Wow, looks like ours is coming out clear.
Well, that's great. We won't have to microwave it again. The next step is to dry the wool. Now that we have our colored wool, you can spin it using your hook to create yarn to use in our weaving project, or you can use this wool for our later project of making marbles. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Well, thank you to those CAMS classroom, to our CAMS classroom educators for showing us about wool. Isn't it neat? I never really thought about it, but you can use Kool-Aid to dye wool. All of the instructions are in your camp packet for today, so you can learn more about it by looking there. And there are 2 more CAMS Classroom hands-on with wool videos that you can watch later. They are on the Colorado Foundation for Agriculture YouTube channel. So that wraps up this wool portion. I'm going to send it back to our MC, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Thank you so much, Jennifer and team. That was ever so inspiring. Man, I'm so ready for winter, and let me tell you, it gets real cold. And my hubbalicious comes home, and the first thing he does is go straight to the fireplace. But maybe I should make him a wool blanket. I'm inspired. Anyways, I'm having so much fun at day 3 camp with all of you. Ooh, I have got something real special coming up next. That's right. We're going to learn, well, I don't want to give it away. It's kind of a surprise. Without further ado, a drum roll for Circus Imagination, Kaiten. Woo!
Hi, it's Ringmaster Caton from Circus Imagination. We're going to be doing a beginning juggling lesson. Let's talk about our materials. So this is all stuff that I found from around the house. Some objects are going to be better for beginning jugglers than others. Some good things to look for. Maybe you got some tissue paper or some tissue wrapping. Those will be helpful. Some tennis balls, maybe some wiffle balls. Juggling balls would be ideal. If you don't have any of those things, you can always find a pair of socks, or dad socks if you want something a little bit bigger. Socks are great because they're soft, they're not going to break anything around you. Things that you don't want to juggle with. Objects that are too big, you're not going to be able to catch those. Leave them alone. Objects that are too small, not going to be able to catch those. Or objects that are too hard. You don't want to use this because it can hurt somebody. All right, so now that we have our materials, let's talk about location. You want to be sure to be someplace that's pretty open so there's nothing that you can break around you. Outside's okay, but you don't want to be facing in the sun. Inside, just make sure that there's nothing of mom or dad's you're going to be breaking. All right, now a couple aids that will help you. A table. If you have a table that's in front of you and you're juggling, if you drop something, it just falls to the table. Real easy to pick it up, get going again. If you don't have a table, you can do it over by a couch. A couch is another good location where you can juggle in front of. It drops, it's real easy to pick up. Trust me, you'll spend about half the time juggling just bending over picking up your objects. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start with our tissues. Now, tissues are very easy because they float down, but they're unpredictable because they can grab different currents. So starting with one hand, one tissue, just going to throw it up, catch it with the same hand. Up and catch, up and catch, up and catch. Easy enough. Now try the other hand. Up and catch, up and catch, up and catch. Now, if you don't have tissue, you might be able to use toilet paper. It might be hard to find in 2020. Or some paper towels, something like that. Up and catch. Now, once you got that down, we're going to go ahead and switch over to the other hand. It's going to be a rainbow shape, up and down. And then same thing other direction. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. All right, so that's basically what you're going to be doing with one object. Moving on to two objects, two tissues. Now I'm going to hold both in one hand. I'm going to hold the bottom one and grab it with my pinky and my ring finger. The green one, the top one, I'm going to hold with my index and my middle finger. I'm going to throw the green one first. It's going to go straight up. As it reaches the top here, that's when I'll throw the second one, and they'll trade places. This will be calming tissues. Here we go. One up, second one up. Catch and catch. Catch and catch. And catch. Excellent. Try with the other hand. Up, up, catch, catch. Up, up, catch, and catch. Very good. Now, one in each hand, they're going to trade places. Again, making that rainbow shape, up and over. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. Cool. Now, as you can see with tissues, my hands are kind of chasing and grabbing them out of the air. Once we move on to these harder objects, they're going to be able to have a more consistent fall. They'll be easier to grab. All right, now with three. So with three, we'll have the yellow one in my left hand. We'll go with the green one on the bottom and red one on the top here. And the way this is going to work is red one will go up. As soon as red one's here, I'll throw yellow one up. They'll change places. Then as yellow comes down, I throw green up, and they'll change places. And there will be your pattern. Here it goes. There it goes. Ready, and green, yellow, red, boom, boom, boom. Kind of hard to see because as they're in midair, I'm grabbing them, but it looks like that. Boom, 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 boom. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so that's tissues. Now let's move on to something a little bit harder here. Let's do same thing with wiffle balls. Always start with one hand, Figure out how that object feels. Get used to it. Throw it up, get it back over there. Back and forth, back and forth. Throw in that second one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One hand calming. Nice to have that tail around. Try with the other hand. Now, wiffle balls are a little bit harder because your hands might be smaller. You might not be able to grab it all. If that's the case, let's move over to the socks. Socks might be a little bit smaller, a little bit squishier, easier to hold on to. Now here again, first thing you want to do, start with 1, up and catch, up and catch. Now, up and over, up and over, up and over. Don't sweat it if you drop it. Half of juggling is dropping. The other half is picking up. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to do 2 in one hand, column socks. 1 up, second one up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's go across. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keeping those hands nice and close, consistent. You want your hands being in the same location all the time, elbows nice and tucked in. Keeping your focus straight ahead, using your peripheral vision to watch the objects. My eyes aren't following the objects. My eyes aren't looking down at my hands. They're always staying here and then using my peripheral vision to watch what's happening. Here we go again. And if your hands are consistent and calm, you can rely on the objects falling back to that same location or colliding in midair. All right, now let's move over to the free socks. 2 socks in one hand, 1 in the other, pinching the bottom one here with my lower fingers, grabbing the upper one here. It's going to work like this. The blue one will go up. As the blue one is in the middle, the green one will be thrown up. They'll switch places. As the green one's up here, the white one's going to go up. They'll switch places, and green one will come down. And then lastly, this one will come down. This is a 6 count beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Happens pretty fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excellent. Now we just keep that routine going. And you're juggling. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit longer than that to get into a good juggling pattern. Just practice again and again and again. Practicing juggling is easy. You can do it anywhere. You can do it in the house, the grocery store. Heck, you can even juggle in the backseat of the car. And then once you got those down, you can intermix them. We can throw in some columning and then go back over to juggling. And then you could add in different objects. This is where it'll start getting harder because they all are going to fly at different rates. They have different weight and the wind reacts to them differently. Next, we'll throw in maybe a bowling ball. No. Maybe some eggs. No. There we go. All right, that was basic juggling. So let's review really quickly. You want to find some soft objects from around the house. You want to make sure that there's nothing breakable around you. It's good to have a table around. Once you have those soft objects, dad socks in this case, start with one hand, just getting that comfortable, getting used to it, knowing what the weight's like, knowing how it's going to fly. Then you're going across, back and forth. Then you throw in the second one. You can get some column in there. Throw in that third one, holding on 2 hands and crossed. All right. Now, if you want to make some juggling balls, check back in a little while. I'll make my wife make a tutorial on how you can make some juggling balls. You use either rice or bird seed on the inside, and then a little bit of stitching and sewing can make you some really awesome juggling balls. All right, well, we hope you guys had a great time with beginning juggling here at Circus Imaginations Camp. I am Ringmaster Caton. Be sure to subscribe to our channel or check out some of our other tutorials. Carol, the costumier, shows you how to make costumes for your very own circus, how to do hula hoop tricks, how to paint your face. I do some boy tutorials, some balance tutorials, a whole bunch of fun here at Circus Imagination Camp. Take care. We hope you guys have a great day. Get out there, practice, and have a circus life.
Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Oh, hi there. Whew. Well, thank you so much, Ambassador Caton. As you can see, I'm very, very inspired, and I'm practicing with some apples. I really like that up-down technology, or technique, not technology. Ooh, wee. Man, you know, speaking of that, since I'm messing up my words, maybe we should all do a stretch. Why doesn't everybody stand up? Because I'm feeling inspired. I'm going to set my apples down. Okay. Now put your arms out like so. Make sure you're not touching any furniture or any of your neighbors. We are going to reach for some bananas because we're going to be talking about fruit, and bananas are my favorite fruit. So everybody, I want you to reach for the banana, reach, because bananas grow in trees. Reach for bananas, reach, 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 bananas. Now, I want you to grab bananas, grab bananas. Now they do fall from trees. So duck, bananas, duck, bananas. And together again, reach, bananas, reach, reach, bananas, grab, bananas, grab, bananas, duck, bananas, duck, bananas. And last but not least, share, bananas, share, bananas. Deep breath in, and out, and in, and out. Are you ready for some more edumacation, or as my husband corrects me and says, education? I've got Jennifer to teach us a little bit more about fruit. I'm gonna go have me a snack. Bye, y'all.
All right. I hope, let's see if I can get my screen shared again. There we go. We're getting there. Perfect. Okay. I hope you are all having fun, and I hope you're not sick of me yet. I've been with you quite a bit today. But we're going to talk now about Colorado produce. Colorado farmers and ranchers are often known for growing crops like wheat and corn, or raising livestock like cattle and sheep. However, many farmers in our state grow the fruits and vegetables found in our local grocery stores and farmers markets. Farmers who grow fruits and vegetables are commonly called growers. Okay, now would be a great time to grab your CAMS classroom materials or the supplies needed for the seed germination activity. We'll do that in just a little bit. Colorado is home to many different growing regions, which are areas with certain weather conditions or soil conditions that are best suited for specific agricultural crops. From the north to the south, east and west, the climate in Colorado can vary greatly throughout our great state. So we have cool nights and warm days on the western slope over here, and you can see what things are grown there. We have sweet corn and peaches, apples, and wine grapes. If you go up to this northern region, it has more favorable soil conditions and well-developed irrigation systems where farmers can grow vegetables like lettuce, cabbage, spinach, carrots, onions, potatoes, sweet corn, and pumpkins. Now, if we go down here to this southeast corner of Colorado, where they have those hot summer days like we've had most of this summer, this makes it perfect growing conditions for melons, some more onions, and those delicious Pueblo green chilies. Finally, farmers in the San Luis Valley are especially known for growing potatoes, thanks to their mild summers and high altitude of 7,600 feet. We're going to learn more about Colorado potatoes tomorrow, so be sure to join us. Have you seen this logo before? It is the new logo for the Colorado Proud program. Colorado Proud is an award-winning program from the Colorado Department of Agriculture. Colorado Proud celebrated its 20th birthday last year. When you're shopping, look for this logo to be able to purchase locally grown, raised, and processed food and agriculture products. I see many of you have stayed in on our Menti, which is great. So you're ready for another Menti activity. This time we're going to do something a little bit different, and you're going to compete against your fellow campers. And you're going to guess the name of our Colorado products. The faster you answer, the more points you will get. So open up your Menti browser, either the same one you had earlier, or just go to another browser on your phone, computer, or tablet. Go to Menti, MENTI.com. Enter today's code, which is 9481839. And as you're getting started, we will need you to join. So go ahead and put your name. You can use a nickname. You can use whatever in your Menti, because we're going to keep track of your scores. So I have 6 of you joining. You guys are pros at this. Okay, so when I start the timer, I'm going to see an image, and you already got a head start because this is our first image, and you will need to tell me what product you are seeing on the screen, okay? So you'll put the name of that product into your Menti. All right, is everybody ready? And for those that are participating just on the chat, you can put it in there too, and I'll keep an eye on that. Okay, we're gonna do this fairly quickly, so get your thumbs or your fingers ready to be able to enter what this item is. So what is the name of this Colorado product? You got 30 seconds to put in your answer. Looks like I've got 1 answer, 2. Kylie has answered. We have 4 on the Menti, 5. Look at those answers. Cantaloupe, cantaloupe. The correct answer is cantaloupe. So those who got it right, good job. All right, let's go to the next one. There's our timer. What is the name of this Colorado product? 1 response so far, 2. What do you think? What's the name? We got some more guesses. What do we got, everyone? Okay, lettuce, spinach, leaf. The correct answer is lettuce, or spinach, sorry, it's spinach. So we'll give you if you spelled it wrong. So we got a couple of those answers correct. Great job. How about this one? What is this product? Potato, yes, but there's a particular kind of potato that this one is. Everyone answered potato, but the correct answer is fingerling potatoes. These are a particular kind of potato that we do grow here in Colorado. All right, everyone I feel like should get this one right. I bet we have lots of ones that have this right. Especially anyone who might be living in Pueblo. Time's up. It's a chili pepper. It's a green chili, the Pueblo green chili. Great job to those that got it correct. All right, well, show us our leaderboard. Nope, there's our leaderboard. So Homer and Athena are in our top places. Let's just do a couple more real quick like. What are these? What do we think? Beets. They are beets. Yep, you all got it right. Perfect. Let's skip that one. That was honeydew. How about this one? Another Colorado favorite. Got 5 responses. Peaches. Yes, that is correct. And let's do this last one right here. What are these? What do we think this is? Eggplant. Yes, you got it all correct. Great job. Let's see our leaderboard. Look at it. Great job, everyone. And Homer is our winner. Fabulous. Thanks for participating. That was fun. Okay, it is now time to go back to Cam's classroom, and we're going to do the seed germination activity.
Hey Colorado State Fair campers, Sarah and Karina here in Cam's classroom. Today we're going to take some time to teach you about farming in a glove and how to make a living seed necklace. Depending on the materials you have at home, feel free to make one or both of these projects as we go along. So the first thing we're going to do is show you the materials that you're going to need for these projects. The materials you'll need for both projects are cotton balls, scissors, a bowl of water, and some seeds. Today we have chosen to use green beans, which are a common crop grown here at RDEC, the research facility through CSU north of Fort Collins. So for farming in a glove, you're also going to need rubber bands and a plastic glove. And for the living seed necklace, you're going to need a string instead of rubber bands and a plastic baggie instead of a plastic glove.
Now, before we get started, let's talk about a few things you and I need in order to grow big and strong. Can you think of anything, Sarah?
Let's see. I really like food to grow big and strong. Really like food. I really like having somewhere to live. That's really awesome. And it's really hot out, so I really like water. That's really awesome too.
Exactly. Just like you need those things, so do seeds. So your seed is going to need the nutrients, it's going to need air, it's going to need an environment to live or a medium, and it's also going to need an appropriate temperature to live. So, for this specific project, we're going to use our baggies for a safe place to live. And we're going to get our scissors and we're going to snip a little hole in the baggie. Do you know why we're snipping a hole in the baggie, Sarah?
Well, you said that seeds need air to grow, so I think that maybe that has something to do with it?
Yeah, exactly. They need air just so they can breathe. So I cut a hole in my baggie, and Sarah's going to cut little holes in her tips of her fingers of her glove.
Make sure they're not too big so your cotton balls don't fall out.
Yeah. So our cotton ball is also going to act as a medium for our seed. It's going to keep the seed safe, but it's also going to provide it with nutrients from when we stick it in water and provide it with water. So we're going to go ahead and dip in some water. Now, let's go ahead and get started. So we already have our wet cotton ball. I like to make a little taco with mine. So it has a little shell. And then I'm just going to stick my bean seed inside the taco, just like this. Yeah. Now that the seed is in our cotton ball, we're going to go ahead and stick it in the medium, which is the baggie or your plastic glove. Now, Sarah's going to continue these steps to fill each of the fingers of her glove.
As I do this, let's talk a little bit about the science behind seeds. So inside the seeds, way behind the shell, there's this little tiny thing called an embryo. And the embryo is sleeping until it's given the right things it needs to grow or germinate. Those things that Karina was talking about, like air and warmth and nutrients, those are the things that makes the seed, the embryo, germinate. So when those things happen, when it's given the food and the oxygen that it needs, it will start to sprout these itty bitty tiny roots into the ground that will help the seed further germinate and further grow, eventually becoming the plants we see and love that produce beans that we can eat.
Wow, that's so awesome. Thanks, Sarah, for telling us about the germination process. Now, to wrap this project up, for my living seed necklace, I'm going to get my pre-cut piece of yarn, tie a knot so the ends are tied together, and then I'm going to go ahead and slip the piece of yarn through the sack's air hole and just go ahead and get it on there so I have my completed necklace. Now, Sarah is going to go ahead and tie together a rubber band for her glove.
And in about a week, you should start to see some little roots grow out of your seeds. When that happens, refer to your guide that will teach you how to plant your seeds outside where they'll hopefully grow into a big, healthy plant.
Thanks so much for tuning in and learning all about the germination process with us. Don't forget to take a few photos for your Junior State Fair Ambassador application.
Karina, I cannot wait to become a Junior State Fair Ambassador. I am so excited.
Me too. We'll see you next time at Camp's Classroom.
Perfect. Thank you so much for learning about agriculture with me today. To learn more about the Colorado Foundation for Agriculture, our free programs and resources, including those for virtual learning like we're doing today for pre-K through 12th grade education, or to make a tax-deductible gift to support the Colorado Agriculture in the Classroom program and more programs like this, visit our website, growingyourfuture.com. All right, I am going to send it back over to our state fair folks.
Thank you so much, Jennifer and team. That was fantastic. And I'm suddenly hungry for lots of fruit. Now, I'm having so much fun. We have learned some more face painting techniques, how to juggle. We've learned about bighorn sheep. That's like the official mascot of CSU. Woo woo! And not to mention some fabulous activities to do in your very own homes. Now, I'm Tana Mae Pickenpaw and having a rootin' tootin' time. And I just wanted to let y'all know, this next video that we're about to show, you can get involved. That's right. The videos about mining that you're seeing are actually made by kids and students just like you. So make sure that you check out Move Next Gen, and you can check out its Move Mining Next Gen, and you can get LinkedIn It's a nationwide competition. That's right, you can make a video just like this next one that you're gonna see that we've done on day 2 and day 1. That's right, if you like mining, rocks, or anything to do with mining, which is a very, very broad industry, which that's what we're learning. Get involved, get that cash prize, and let's have a rootin' tootin' time. Let's see this next mining video. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Sabria Sigisley. And my name is Amina Sigisley. We are here to talk about why mining is important. Mining? Is mining important? How does it affect me? Well, do you use a clock? How about a pencil? Did you brush your teeth this morning? Well, sure. Why? Because all those things have minerals in them. So is that bracelet you are wearing. I know that. Many clocks use cords to keep track of time. Pencils have graphite and there is fluoride in toothpaste. My bracelet has silver and gemstones in it. That's right. All of these minerals are mined. Most of the things we use and rely on in our everyday lives contain minerals that were mined. Let's take a closer look at quartz. Quartz is a common mineral, and when it is placed under extreme pressure, it forms crystals. Large mines in places like Arkansas in the USA and in Italy, quartz crystals are mined using explosives to expose veins and pockets of crystals. In addition to beautiful jewelry and polished rocks, quartz crystals are used in clocks and computer chips because they vibrate at a constant speed when electricity is applied to them. The quartz oscillator in a watch keeps the hands ticking at an almost perfect speed so that we can keep track of time. If minerals were not mined, our lives would be missing a lot of convenient things. We would not be able to travel by plane or car. We would not be able to place a cell phone call or use computers and attend schools online. There would not be any glass windows or mirrors to look in. That's right, we could go on and on listing all the ways mining is important to us. We hope that you appreciate mining as much as we do. Thanks for watching.
Well done, ladies. That was excellent. Yes, that's right. Videos just like that, what you just saw, that was made by them, and you can get a cash prize. And that'd be kind of cool because you can do something spectacular next summer, put it in your piggy bank, maybe save up for college. Now, I have had so much fun at day 3. That's right, day 3 State Fair virtual camp. And our theme is Walk on the Wild Side. And what a wild time it has truly been. Now remember, I know we don't have fair and we can't be together this year, but there are ways for you to still be involved. So go on our website, check out our Junior Ambassador Program, Moving Mine Next Generation as well. Check out all the wonderful things that you can do to get involved. And I want to see you back tomorrow for day 4 State Fair Camp. That's right. Bye now.